That feels like an important quote right there. All right, we have more Classroom of the Elite, Season 1, Episodes 9 and 10. If you have not subscribed yet, definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, and check out the Patreon if you want to watch ahead and the full reactions. Let's go ahead and start. All right. Man is condemned to be free. That sound, yeah, condemned. Meaning you are sent to be free. You must.
学校側から用意されたのは8人用テント2つ、懐中電灯2つ、マッチ1箱。
Oh man.
アメニティの入ったリュック。女子用の
On an island, survival. They really kind of threw a wild card here. And was like, okay, well, random. Let's there's no survival.
気取ってんじゃねえよ。お前が生徒会に立候補して落ちたって噂が広まって以降、坂柳派が優勢なのは知ってんだぜ。
炎天下のサバイバルか。
でも先生たち言ってたよな。海で泳ぐのもバーベキューするのも自由だって。
Yeah, but you still need to survive.
ポイントで買えるものは幅広い。飲料水や食料。
Well, you can buy pretty much anything with points, as we learned.
試験終了時に残った S ポイントがクラスポイントに加算されるそうだから。
1週間我慢すりゃ毎月3万、毎月3万。
それって
ポイントマイナスの査定項目だね。
Of course there is.
不良や大怪我、著しい環境の汚染、朝と夜の点呼時の不在、他クラスへの暴力や略奪。
Okay, I mean, the points deductions do seem to at least discourage some bad things, like right there, violence against or stealing from other classes. Polluting, it does, but also it feels like, oops, accidentally dropped like something and didn't recycle or fucking dropped garbage. Boom, minus points. I feel like it's gonna be very easy to lose points.
ポイントって増えるんだっけ？
島の各地にあるスポットを一つ確保するごとにボーナスポイントがプラスされるよ。
But aren't classes gonna like fight over those?
ペナルティが課せられるか。
Well,
it's
pretty, yeah. That was my absolute thought was, but they can also track you. It's mostly what it's there for. That would be my thought.
いや、やれるとこまで我慢してやるべきだ。
でもあれはさすがに、やだ。死んじゃう。
A basic toilet. Oh yay! You don't even need water to flush. Meaning you're not flushing anything.
簡易トイレ、給水ポリマーシートで汚物を固め、数度の使用が可能。
できない子がいるからって話をしてんの。
ポイントで購入可能なものには普通のトイレもあるね。
What, like a porta potty?
これいいね。
That's what that looks like.
ポイントの使用は最低でも過半数の票を集めてから言ってくれ。
I mean, in normal circumstances, I'd be like, okay, that should be worth using points.
感情で動く女子の好き勝手をすべて聞き入れていたら話にならんぞ、平田。
何よそれ。
落ち着いて。喧嘩腰はやめよう。
こっちの気持ちも考えて。今回の試験、思ったよりもずっと複雑で。
I mean, I think that's the point.
試験と言えそうね。
It's gonna throw everybody off. Like, if you're not a functional class and you can't work together, that's actually something that I would think some of the other classes have the advantage on, is being able to work together, as we've seen with like some of the other classes being able to just like either listen to one person or follow things or whatever the case is. They seem to be a little bit more functioning. And that will give them the advantage if they're not fighting or they're not able, like, I don't know. I think Class D is kind of like set up to fail something like this. Well, and being stuck with a group. Mm-hmm.
確かに。
あなたが私に言ってたことが少しだけ現実になったかもしれないわね。学力以外で能力を問われるかもしれない。
I mean, really on everything.
ああ、
池君や須藤君は率先して探しに出てくれた。私にはできないことよ。
それよりお前大丈夫か？
何が？ A クラスや B クラスが徹底してスポットを抑えるつもりなら、こちらも。
上のクラスを目指すって大変だな。
Yeah, they don't make it
興
easy.
味がないの？
何に？
進学先や就職先の保証。みんなその特権を生かすために入学したと思ってたのに。
From what we saw with that interaction in a previous episode, like she's like the teacher is like forcing, well, pretty much blackmailing him to try to get to Class A. He's probably one of the, but I don't think he's the only person that isn't really trying to get to that. I think some probably just don't have the aspirations or whatever. But yeah, there's obviously benefits to being the Class A. That would be normal. That would be a normal thing to strive for.
トラブルなく回しきれるだろうか。
それはうまく使って。
簡易トイレ一つっていうのは最初から無理があるよ。ある程度ポイントを使
It's
う
gonna be
方が
awkward.
効率がいいんじゃないかな。むやみに我慢すればストレスを溜めたり不安を煽ってしまうし、衛生面も心配だ。女の子たちだって安心してこの試験に挑むことができるだろうしね。
そうだな。
あの理屈なら反論は出ないな。
Yeah, that seems to be the way to approach him about something like
僕ら
that.
も探索しようと思う。
そうなの？
どこに腰を据えるかでポイントの消耗にも大きく関わってくるからね。一緒に行ってくれる人はいるかな？
He always has that really, I don't like that smile he gives.
珍しいこともあるものね。
役割を持たないと浮くからな。
Yeah, I mean, it matters how many people are taking on a role, though.
3人ずつのチームで行こう。
You'll stand out if it's a lot less. Whoa, what is happening here? Somebody's hunting? Oh, he's jumping from tree branch to tree branch.
美しい。大自然の中に悠然と佇む私は美しすぎる。究極の。
I guess he's a natural athlete.
運動神
My
経
God.
抜群。自然相手の対応も一切臆さない。なんだあれは。
Maybe he has a background of, I don't know, being able to, I don't know, do stuff like that.
だからな。身体能力だけじゃない。
Yeah.
挙動に一切の迷いがない。高円寺、あんまり速いペースは。
Ridiculously confident.
心配はいらない。この森ならば、ノープロブレムだ。
It's like he's done that before.
このレベルの森だと、少なくとも日中さまよって迷う確率は極めて低い。だからこそ、多少興味もあるがね。
He's an interesting one. Oh my God, he was just doing backflips and like natural Tarzan right there.
時速何キロで空中移動するんだ、あれは。
ここって道なのかな？
そうみたいだな。
すごい。もしかしてスポットなのかな？
多分な。
島には複数のスポットが存在する。スポット
Oh, there might be a
一度
class
占有する
there.
ごとに1ボーナスポイントを得ることができる。ただし、ボーナスポイントは試験中の使用はできない。
Okay, so you have to
試
save
験
them.
終了時にクラスポイントとして加算される。スポットの占有権は一度につき8時間。クラスのリーダーだけが占有を宣言できる。
リーダー。
So you have to stay for 8
そうだ。
hours.
スポット占有のためのキーカードがリーダーには与えられる。点呼のタイミングで他クラスのリーダーが誰かを的中させれば、
What?
クラス一つにつき50ボーナスポイントを得ることができる。
50ボーナスポイン
For
ト。
extra.
全部
Huh.
150ボーナスポイントかよ。
So I'm guessing definitely don't say who it
間違えれば
is
マイナス
for yours.
50S ポイント。ハイリスクハイリターンだ。他クラスのリーダーを探すもよし、G クラスのリーダーを隠すもよしだ。
Interesting.
スポットは重要か。だが、安易に獲得に動けば、リーダーを晒すことになる。
That's the downside. Okay. Oh. Ah, I had a feeling somebody from a different class was at least close. Oh. Well, that makes it easy. You got a leader already.
発見は必然だ。それから言動には気をつけるんだ。
はい。
どこで誰が聞き耳を立てているか、些細なミスもしないよう心がけるように。私にはリーダーとしての監督責任がある。
Huh. He seems like the obvious leader choice to me, though. I feel like you would choose somebody else.
遠回りをするように島の外周を一周した。あれはヒントだ。
ヒント。
One lap of the island?
船のデッキからは森を切り開いた道が見えていた。あとは最短ルートを進むだけだ。
学校側の意図を見抜いていたんですか。
Guy's pretty smart.
さすがです。これで坂柳も黙るしかありませんね。
静かにしろ、弥彦。
桂木さん。
Ooh. He heard something.
いや、次だ。長いは無用。
Well, they were pretty much given a gift on this one. Found out a leader real quick.
間一髪か。悪い、さくら。さくら、
Oh, because you were
大丈夫か。
holding her for a while. You're gonna be okay. All right. So the summer special test rules. During this test, each class will be granted 300 test points. Among other things, test points can be spent to purchase items listed in the manual. In addition, bonus points acquired during the test by fulfilling certain conditions will only be added on after the test is finished. We did learn that. They cannot be used during the test. Okay, mostly information that we learned on there, but definitely good to know for sure. Okay, so how do you flip it? You just you put your card in and then it starts that?
もしかしてさっきの人がリーダーってこと？すごい秘密知っちゃったね。
後で俺が平田に報告しておくよ。
はぐれた？高円寺君と？
ああ。あれは俺が制御できるような人間じゃない。わかってるだろ。
みんな朗報だ。池くんたちが水源のスポットを発見してくれた。僕たちも合流しよう。
ここだー。俺たちが見つけたスポット。
すごいよ池くん。
This is the time I would be, checking the rules on this.
スポットの占有を行えるのは各クラスのリーダーのみか。
ここをベースキャンプにするのは確定として、問題は占有するかどうかだね。
するだろ。占有すりゃ川も使えるし、ポイントだって8時間ごとに入るんだぜ。
うん。でもそれには8時間に一度リーダーが更新する必要があるよね。
そっか、他のクラスに見られたら。
そこはこう囲んで隠せばいいんじゃね。
そうだね。みんなはどう思う？
Okay, I can see how this works now. Like, my first initial thought was they would, fighting would be inevitable because they would, be fighting over possession, or maybe you'd be able to, once somebody's taken the point, it could still be taken. But now, with this clarified, it's more of the 8 hours is that you have that 8 hours, but once it runs out, you have to renew it. But that leaves you vulnerable to be seen, because the leader has to do it. So it does really kind of cut fighting from happening, but also couldn't you fight over once that 8 hours hits, you could fight over the spot or something too, technically? It should be somebody that's not obvious.
いろいろ考えてみたんだけど、平田君や軽井沢さんは嫌でも目立っちゃう。でもリーダーを任せるなら責任感のある人じゃなきゃダメでしょ。
Let me guess who you're gonna choose.
その両方を満たしているのは堀北さんだと思う。どうかな？
Yeah, she makes sense.
賛成だよ。
Well, it was either gonna be her or Ayano Koji. I thought it was gonna be either one or the other.
嫌なら俺がやってもいいぜ。
わかったわ。私が引き受ける。
よーし、 これで風呂と飲み水の問題は解決したよな。
Actually, that's really smart though. Surrounding so you can't tell who's actually
確かに
putting it in
そうだ
there.
けど
本当に大丈夫？川の水飲むなんて飲めるのかな？本当に？
なんだよみんな、せっかく見つけた川を有効活用しない手はないだろ。
まだ時間はあるし慌てて決める必要はないよ。
だよね。そうだね。怖いよね。
イケ、アウトドアは得意なのか？
小さい頃よく家族と一緒にキャンプしてたからさ、川の水にも抵抗ないんだよな。
Yeah, I've had it before. Some are
見りゃわかるし。
gross and super salty, but
焚き火に使えそうな枝を拾ってきてもらいたいんだ。
分かった。適当に拾ってくる。
ああ、一人じゃ危ないから。
誰か探すよ。
彼もクラスの中心の割にあなたを頼るしかないなんて情けないのね。
補佐くらいしたらどうだ。リーダー。
力に
In
なれるこ
quotes.
とは何もないわね。
what is she doing? Oh, she's still. He's like, me? You looking at me?
なあ、矢野浩二。俺、桜狙おうと思うんだ。
Of course.
串田ちゃんって
Somebody.
レベル高すぎるじゃん。
お前。
That's gonna go so much better for you. Yeah.
優しく気配りできる男を演出できれば落ちると思うんだよな。
だからついてきたの
This
か。
feels like an automatic fail.
なあ、桜。持つの手伝ってやろうか。女の子だと大変だろう。怪我するかもだし。
大丈夫です。
おい、どうした？
Oh, no, 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 no.
なんだよ。
He's on.
いや、なんでもない。
なあ、大丈夫か？
ほっといてよ。なんでもないから。痛いですよね。
C クラスの息吹だな。クラスメートと何かあったのか？
This seems fishy. Okay, this seems really fishy to me. Like, Class C, which is, I would think, would be extremely, we know, competitive with Class D or all of them. It just, but I'm trying to think of what the motive or like what you could do, like what would be the reasoning for to set somebody up like this to, it just seems odd to me. Like, but maybe this person really did get hurt and left behind, but everything just seems fishy
生徒なんだ
here.
けどさ、よかったらベースキャンプに来なよ。
Like, and then you could learn information though if you do that.
私は C クラス。つまりお前らの敵ってこと。
一人で置いとけないって。だよな。君が動くまで、俺らもここにいるから。
Mm.
バカだなお前ら。相当なお人よし。うちのクラスじゃ考えられない。
枝だけじゃ火はつかないだろ。でもこれでなんとかなると思うぜ。覚えりゃ誰だってできるさ。
すげえな。
ただい
All you need is one person to accidentally talk about the leader, like who the leader is.
どうなんだろう。ベルーベリーかな。
And then it'll screw you completely.
キキオちゃんが見つけたの？すげえ。
じゃあカンジ君、こっちは何かわかる？
そっちはイチジクだな。これも甘くて美味しいよ。いやー懐かしいな。
そうなんだ。
池くんは詳しいんだね。心強いよ。
焚き火も池のおかげだな。
カンジ君すごいね。だよね。
悪かったよ。
何急に。
思い出したんだよ。初めてキャンプした時、トイレがひどくて親に文句言いまくった。女子はなおさらだよな。
自分で状況を把握して冷静になれるのか。俺よりよほど。
私も、ごめん。少しは何かやらないとポイントを残せないよね。
みんな、いいかな。この特別試験、最後まで信頼し合って進めていきたいと思う。試験終了時、300S ポイント中 120S ポイント以上残せるかどうか。それが目安になるはずだよ。
I mean, that's a good number to reach for. What?
全ての食事をポイントでカバーするとして、 一番脂質が少ない形にしようと思ったら、栄養食とミネラルウォーターのセット。
Okay, so we have, what is this? Food for 10 S points times 12 is 120. So you would have, oh man, there's a lot of days. I didn't really think about that. I mean, that's a lot of food. I mean, you could technically get food yourself, hunting or whatever, but that seems to be the easiest way. Portable toilet, boys' tent.
平田に教えてやったのか。
まさか冗談でしょ。
120S ポイントは少なくない。中間テストと期末テストの結果を思い出してみて。
A クラスのポイント変動が
94だな。これは加減の話だ。
Budget for unforeseen circumstances, 30 S points. Predicted, oh wait, predicted points deducted from initial 300 points. So yeah, so the 300 minus 150 minus 30. Like just in case you lose points for whatever reason, because there is many reasons. Okay, that's good to have too. This is like, honestly, I'm kind of impressed with them so far with this. Because they could easily be a little you know, not as organized here. All right.
20S ポイント温存できるね。
1週間飲み水に困らなければ50ポイント以上も変わってくる。
そっか。
I guess you are, if you're just drinking the water there, it does save you points.
お前のことを相談してるから。
別に無理しなくていいって。どうせ私はすぐに追い出される。
わからないぞ。お人よしは多い。
いぶきさんだよね。
Which is not always good.
これ食べて。バカじゃないの。どいつもこいつも。遠慮せずに食べてね。それと後でお話ししようね。ふざけんなよ。
What? Oh my god.
ほんと勝手だよ。それってどうしたの？
What?
高円寺が体調不良を訴えて船に戻った。査定に従い、D クラスは
See, that's, it's too easy to lose points.
リタイアとなり、船内での治療と待機が。
Why is he doing that? Like, is he purposely, like, fucking them over? Yeah, he looks so happy. But maybe he's not even thinking about it. Like, what the fuck? I find that odd, but he's an odd dude. Like, it's hard to get a read on him, but also, like, he seems to be talented at almost everything. Doesn't really care about too much, but that also kind of equated to him going back to the boat in the first place. At first my thought was like, is he purposely trying to like screw them over? But then like with his personality, maybe he's just not really caring and just thinking about himself there, and it's not really, you know, on purpose. Maybe it's just me overthinking, but I'm more worried about that girl coming in there, and I know like it seems so, they've been so wholesome in a sense to her, it like from a different class, even the way she's like, you shouldn't do it this way. I don't know. I can't help but think it's some type of plan or something. Every man has in himself the most dangerous traitor of all. See, traitor, right? Every man has in himself the most dangerous traitor. Meaning, someone could be a traitor. Oh, this is more of his past. We only got like a little flash. What? Are these all like super intelligent kids? We know he's like ridiculously intelligent, very like he pays attention to everything. He's always like observing and being like, he's very, seems to be naturally observant, but he's always like, I don't know, like trying to like learn things, but also like observing people's actions and what like trying to figure out why they would do something. It seems like he's doing that all the time. Coming from whatever this background is, like it feels like some type of like lab, or like the way the surrounding is and him in the coat, like it feels like they're like in a lab or a weird private school. But I mean, he's in a private school now, but I don't know, maybe naturally talented kids.
清高よく覚えておけ。力を持っていながら それを使わないのは愚か者のすることだ。
What? Have power. That isn't very. That feels like an important quote right there. To have power and fail to use it is the behavior of a fool. Seems to be naturally good at like helping people in certain ways or getting people to be their best, like their best self, like getting people on track and helping. So maybe he's doing that for himself, or it could be in the same sense. He could be thinking that with other people, like, hey, you have this power of doing this and you're not doing it. Let me help you with that. I don't know. It's my initial thoughts.
魚取れたぞ。
果物こんなにたくさんあったよ。
みんなご苦労様。
平田、次は何すりゃいいんだ。
じゃあ2人は焚き火の準備をしてくれるかな。
お、
串田さんたちは食料の管理をお願い。手の空いてる人は飲み水を集めるのを手伝ってほしい。
Yeah, see, always observing.
オッケー。
平田陽介
それじゃあ行こうか。
D クラスの中心か。
あなたが自分から行動するなんて珍しいわね。
どうせ暇だからな。時間つぶしだ。
偵察はいいけれど、私としてはあまり動きたくないわね。明確な目標もなくさまよって無駄な体力を奪われたくないもの。
気持ちはわかるが、引きこもってても現状は変わらないだろう。それに
今度は俺が相手をしてやろう。
Yeah, we did hear about that.
堀北がターゲットの一人になってるのは間違いないだろうからな。
そうね。
Which that's why I think like making her the leader. I don't know. If they're gonna go after her or something anyway, maybe they really should have made somebody else the leader.
海の中には果物がいろんな場所にあるし、海に出て魚も釣ってるかな。でもいろいろ工夫してなんとかやってるよ。
They're getting it done.
私たちは協力関係にあると思っていいのよね。うん、私はそう思ってるよ。
お話中すいません。
何かな。
僕にも何かお手伝いできることはないでしょうか。
じゃあ向こうで千尋ちゃんたちのフォローに回ってもらえる？
わかりました。ありがとうございます。
クラスメートにしてはよそよそしいわね。彼金田くんって言うんだけど、C クラスで揉めちゃったみたいでキャンプを追い出されたみたいなの。あ、ごめん、そろそろ作業に
Oh,
終わらないの。
wait a second. Wait a second. Okay. That my suspicions were already there, but that's fucking suspicious. That just like that seals my thought. Okay. So let's theorize here. Class C could be sending like somebody like that with a good excuse. We have one that gets hurt, one that got thrown out or whatever for whatever reason. And then there could like yeah, I think they did that to all the classes, has one person in there, and that's the way they're going to figure out who the leader is it's having like in the beginning of the episode, it talked about like a traitor or whatever. The traitor is the class C person coming in to every single fucking one or whatever, and then figuring out, oh no. I would think Ayano Koji would like think of this. Like maybe he just hasn't said it out loud, but like think of that as a possibility.
怯えてても仕方ないだろ
う。どういうつもり？不用意に姿を晒しても得はないわ。
このままこそこそ隠れてても何の進展もないからな。
なんだお前ら。
偵察に来たのよ。何か問題ある？
は
姑息なやり方ね。
Oh, so they're doing that so they can hide who it is.
何？
ここは A クラスが占有してるんだ。勝手なことをするな。
へえ、あなたたちはここを占有しているの。
そうだ、下がれ。
でも洞窟の中に入ってはいけないルールなどないわ。占有中のスポットは利用できないけれど、内部を確認する権利はあるはずよ。これは明白な独占行為よ。ルール違反をしているのはそっちじゃないかしら。
Yeah, if that's part of the rules, then. What is? Oh, he's hunting. I was gonna say, why the fuck does he have the bow? But
一つの占有スポットを一つのクラスが抑え、それを試験終了まで守り通す。この暗黙のルールに踏み込めば、戦争が起きるぞ。
Yeah, but you'll get deducted points for fighting.
面倒なことは避けておくことだな。
That could just be a bluff. They're not seeming to care. What the hell?
嘘でしょ。
What the
どういう
fuck?
つもりなの？
This is
C
what-
クラスは。
リュウエンさんが呼んでます。
よう。
And they're okay.
随分と羽振りがいいのね。
They're doing that because I'm guessing because they have 3 people. My assumption is 3 people, because why send one person to each place and not bring it to the other one? So I'm assuming there's 3 people, one in each other class or whatever, hanging out there and giving a reason why they got kicked out of Class C. And they're getting, and then they're gonna find out who the leader is on all of them. I think that's like their long-term strat here. There's probably more to it though. What the fuck?
100だか200だかのクラスポイントのために、お前らは上に耐え、暑さと虚しさに耐えるのか。想像するだけで笑えてくるな。
警戒してここに来た私がバカだったわ。
バカはどっちだ？俺か？お前か？
リュウエンさん。
You're seeming pretty foolish right now, but I think you have a bigger plan.
これが俺のやり方だ。これ以上もこれ以下も存在しない。
そう。なら好きにするのね。私たちからすれば好都合よ。
それがどうかしたか。
彼女、顔を腫らしていたわ。あれはどういうこと？
支配者の命令に背く手下はいらねえ。軽く制裁を加えてやったのさ。
Now, if I thought this, it just feels like it's wanting us to believe that. That's why I'm gonna look silly if I'm wrong on this. But I'm gonna double down and still think my original thought. But I can see why, like, people would want to leave if they got hurt like that, or if they're getting kicked out. The way he's treating everybody, I can see that. I can understand that. But in my head, I feel like there's an act here. This guy he wants her, like, he's out for revenge on her. They want to, for one, I just feel like they have a strategy here. And it just seems too obvious to, to me if they were, yeah, I don't know. I'm keeping with mine.
そういうことだ。俺はすべてのポイントを使って。
Because they know they're gonna get a bunch more.
どうなろうと、ポイントを引かれる心配はないってことだ。
ルール上。
Rule says, if S points reach 0, then even if actions are taken that would cause a loss of S points, no penalty will be applied to the class or individual, nor will there be any deduction of class points or private points after the test ends. If you okay. No penalty will be applied to the class or individual, nor will there be any deduction of class points or private points after the test ends. Okay, so they go down to 0. They lose all their... This is actually... Yes, this makes me even triple down on the strategy that I think they're doing. So they're at 0 points. They can do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about penalties at all. They're able to have a relaxing time. On top of it, they send 3 people, like one person to each class. They somehow learn about who the leader is by the end. Then they get a lot of those points back by saying who the leader is of each class at the end. So it's the best case scenario for them. And they get to treat like the entire thing as a vacation.
せっかくのクラスポイントを無駄にするなんて。
んなことより、俺と遊ばねえか。専用のテントぐらい用意するぜ。
Creepy.
行きましょう、綾野浩二君。ここにいても気分が悪くなるだけよ。自滅してくれて助かるわ。
ああ。
節約すべきところは節約しないと。
Oh, man.
1週間は乗り切れないわ。
あいつは花から1週間なんて見ていないんだ。
どういうこと？
簡単な話。高円寺がしたようにするだけだ。体調が悪い。精神的に不安定だ。 とにかく理由をつけてリタイア
And
すれば
oh, and they have minus point, and they'll already be in the negatives anyway.
夏休みを満喫
Yeah. Okay. So it still goes with my initial thought, except the added thing of using all the points or whatever. Then they get to go on the boat and even do more vacation. But it's still like, I think the 3 people that are with the group, they're going to bank on finding out who the leaders are and getting those extra points after the test is over.
できるだろ
じゃあ最初から試験そのものを放棄しているってこと？
この試験は文字通り自由だ。龍炎の考え方も正解の一つだろう。
Yeah.
理解不能ね。
0ポイント作戦か。面白いな。
Yeah. I feel really good about my my thoughts there. My prediction. Test day 3. Oh, we're not even halfway through it. I'm guessing this is going to carry to the end of the season. What?
おはよう綾小路君。もしかして起こしちゃった？
いや、さすがにこの環境だと熟睡ってわけにはいかなくてな。腰が痛い。
気持ちいいね。
大変だな、クラスのまとめ役も。
僕は好きでやってるだけだから。クラスのみんなが幸せでいてくれれば、それだけで満足なんだ。
And maybe he doubts that. That face looked like I picked it. I feel that's a doubt right there. Yeah. Let's see. Each class will choose one student to be their leader. During the test, leaders cannot be changed without a legitimate reason. Meaning the leaders could change. So there's that. But it has to be a legitimate reason. So I guess you could keep. I mean, it's still like if you're trying to figure that out, or whatever, you still would be able to notice if somebody maybe. I don't know. On the last day of the test, each class can declare who they think is the leader of the other classes. For each leader guessed correctly, that class receives 50 bonus points. If the leader is guessed incorrectly, the class loses 50 as a penalty. In addition, a class whose leader is guessed correctly. A class whose leader is guessed correctly loses 50 points as a penalty and loses all bonus points gained during the test. So for a team that went all the way to 0 and has vacation the entire time, that's an intelligent move. Like you get to, I mean, everybody can play whatever. That's the freedom of choosing what strategy you want. You're at 0 points. You can't lose anything at all. There's no downside to making these guesses. Even if you're wrong, you're still going to be at 0 anyway. And if you're right, you have a chance of getting 150 bonus points from that, and making all the other classes that tried all these had to have it be horrible and sleep horribly and do all that, and you could get them down to probably 0 as well. It's a pretty good strategy.
俺なんかとペアでよかったのか？
ごめんね。私探索の足手まといだけど。
いろいろ噂が立ったらさくらが困るんじゃないか。
I don't think she cares, honestly. Yeah.
旅行に出発するとき、最初はすごく憂鬱だったんだ。友達もいない私が旅行したって楽しくないし。でも、今は少しだけ来てよかったと思ってる。
そうか。
残念だな。デジカメがあったら最高の一枚が撮れそうだったのに。
お前も偵察か？
いや、適当に森を探索してたら浜辺に出ただけだ。
C クラスのリーダーぐらい当ててみようと思った。
No, they went. Okay, so maybe they did go to the boat.
クラスを積み重ねるのが目的だ。それを放棄した時点で龍炎は負けている。
That's not true.
地道な戦略が一番だよね。
一ノ瀬、一つ聞きたいことがあるんだが。
何？
A クラスの葛城について何か知ってることはないか？
葛城くんか。今回は坂柳さんが試験を休んでるから葛城くんが A クラスを取り仕切ってるみたいだけど。
葛城は頭の切れる男だ。坂柳が不在でも仲間割れするような真似はしないだろうな。
革新派と保守派っていうのかな。考え方がまるで逆なんだよね。だからいつもぶつかり合ってる。
Ah, so maybe it actually behooves of them of having one person like that, or one person leading like that.
そういえばさ、C クラスの奴らが船に戻る。
They might have been worse off if both of them were there, maybe.
何か知ってるか？
いや、知らないな。
単純に無人島生活が嫌になってリタイアしただけでしょ。
クラス全員で？
No, it's a strategy. I'm very certain now.
ね
Yeah.
え、伊吹さんはどうするの？
あいつらの顔なんて見たくないし、私はここに残る。
なんか怪しいんだよな。
Yeah. At least somebody's suspicious.
な、お前何か知ってんじゃねえのか？
はあ？意味わかんない。あんたたちが勝手にやっただけ。貴重なポイント無駄にしてバカじゃないの？
だと
須藤君、
殴りたきゃ殴れば。
二人とも落ち着いて。今は仲間割れしてる場合じゃないよ。
仲間？とんだお人よしね。
伊吹さん、大丈夫？
Yeah.
だよあいつ。
平田くん、大変なの。
こんな朝早くから何かな？
平田くんは関係ない話なんだけど、どうしても確認しなきゃならないことがあるの。今朝、軽井沢さんの下着がなくなってたの。
What?
軽井沢さん、テントの中で泣いてる。串田さんたちが慰めてるけど。
ちょっと待てよ。なんで俺たちが歌う？
そんなの決まってるでしょ。中にこの中の誰かが盗んだのよ。
俺たちじゃなくて、あの伊吹って女が盗んだんじゃねえのかよ。
Is this really?
なんで言い切れるんだよ。
とにかく下着泥棒と同じ場所でキャンプするなんて無理よ。
Is this really the thing to argue about right now?
まだ男子が盗んだって証拠はないんじゃないかな。でもプライベートを尊重して、まずは男子だけで検査をさせてくれないかな。
だよ。クソムカつくよな。
無条件で男が疑われるなんて理不尽すぎるぜ。
Did it get planted?
いや、
もしか
It
して
got planted in
お
there.
前が盗んだんだったりして。
バカちげえよ。
It.
お前まさか。
Somebody put it in there. I'm guessing.
カバン見せてみろ。
やめろよ。
あ、
Yeah.
現行犯だな。
俺じゃねえんだって。
Oh man.
言ってたんだよ。お前は信じてくれるよな。
状況から考えると、お前が犯人じゃないと言い切れる証拠はない。
It really does sound like somebody planted
相手
that,
が犯人だ
but
としたら、間抜けすぎる。
yeah.
じゃあ誰かが池のカバンにパン
I'm trying to think of the reason though to do this.
それしか考えられないって。
Throw them off?
早くしろよ。
Get everyone pissed at each other?
どうしよう。やべえ、マジやべえ。
Like it could have been, you know, the person from class C kind of like throwing to create chaos or something, maybe threw that in his bag, grabbed it and then threw it in his bag maybe, or somebody else did it. I don't know. That's my first thought.
頑張れ。
とにかく隠すしかないな。
俺もパニックだし。お前が隠した方がいいって思うならそうしてくれよ。
待て、それは。
今行くよ。
Well, now you're stuck with that.
一度荷物を片付けてもいいかな。話はそれからでもできるよ。
身体検査。
Oh
下に
no.
盗むやつなんて変態なんだから。どこに入れてるかもわからないでしょ。
いい加減にしろって。
池くんさっきから怪しくない？
あいつが犯人じゃないの？
キモい。
ああ、わかったよ。調べたきゃ調べろよ。
おい、そんな風に話を。
Yeah, then he's gonna get
じゃあ
checked.
調べて。平田くん、お願い。
I guess he's gonna get caught, or
もは
yeah.
や言い逃れはできない。終わったな。
綾野浩二君も持ってないね。
Oh, we lied for him.
やっぱり男子じゃないんだよ。
本当に？まあ平田くんが言うなら。
ありがとう。じゃあみんなには僕が伝えておくね。
うん。じゃあよろしく。
平田、ちょっといいか。
やっぱり下着だったんだね。
あ
あ。綾野浩二君が取ったの？
いや、違う。
僕は信じるよ。君はそういうことをする人じゃない。
Okay, what I thought.
もしよければ下着は僕が預かってもいいかな。
What?
いいのか。
Why would?
犯人にされるなら僕が一番ダメージが少ないよ。一応彼氏だしね。
Huh.
僕は綾野浩二君が犯人じゃないって信じてる。だから君を助けた。それでってわけじゃないんだけど、綾野浩二君に犯人を探してもらいたいんだ。
俺が犯人を？
それからもし犯人が見つかったら最初に僕に教えてほしい。他の人には絶対に言わないでほしいんだ。
それは事実を隠蔽するってことか。
隠蔽か。そう取られても仕方ないね。誰が犯人であれ僕は事実を伏せるべきだと思ってるから。
Interesting.
こんなことで壊したくないんだ。だから君にも協力してほしい。
This is something the show does. Like, something as light as, like, somebody stole panties has, like, meaning. Like, I feel like there's meaning, and there's always some, it feels like some ulterior thing that's you're supposed to look at or something. Like, with my thoughts here, I think it's like just seeing the type of person he is. Like, he's wanting to, to hide that or whatever, but he's also willing to, like, I don't know, not, he didn't rat him out and all that, but he might have had ulterior motives on that one as well. But, like, I think the funny part of it is that it's panties. It's like just like the same where it's like this light stuff, but at the same time there's other things happening in the background. Now, like I said, I think it's somebody planted it. Like, I don't think there's an actual culprit of somebody that did it in the sense of doing it for themselves. I feel like it's somebody from Class C or the one person from Class C, or somebody planted it for a reason. It just seems like to cause chaos, or it could just be somebody that literally did that. But what's the point? That seems odd to me. I don't know. But anyway, these were good episodes. A lot of like thought-provoking type stuff, like this entire survival thing and the freedom of doing things, the point system, all that really makes, like, I will say this, without all these added things, and then on top of it, like, the way Ayano Koji like thinks, and we know like there must be some crazy backstory and past. We've seen little flashes. Like, take all that away and you could make this like a typical fun, like if I just like took that off and just took this, like, hey, it's a fun school anime. Like, maybe you could enjoy this for just being a school anime. They got like fun interactions and stuff, but add this extra layer to it. It makes me overthink everything. I think that's what this show does, is because you add that extra element of trust and things are suspicious, and like it just makes me, it's not a typical school anime. I mean, that was obvious from episode 1. Anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. If you guys want to check out the Patreon, I'd appreciate that. You can watch the full reactions and watch ahead and early and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.